Hello and welcome everyone. This is my A to C Stitch With Me number 71. I am working on the Frosty Forest series by Country Cottage Needleworks. This is part 8 called Snowy Reindeer, and it's placed in the top left corner of the square. The square, there's 9 patterns and they're placed in a 3x3 grid. So top left is number 8. And it's going to look like this in the end. And as you can see, this is the last part I have left. There's one more row under here, which will go all the way over. So I'm waiting to do that until I have done the other stitches. So yeah, I need to calm down, take a sip of my drink, and let's get to stitching, shall we? So I'm gonna zoom you in. I'm gonna work over that side later on. So you all should yell at me if I forgot to move the camera so you get out of frame. I can't hear you because I'm pre-recording everything, but you can try. Maybe I can hear you from the future yelling at me, move the camera. So, and trying to get this at a good place. It's when I get it where I want it to, it's kind of there, I think. So yeah. And yeah, I need to calm down. My brother-in-law just messaged, so he has gotten 2 children. One of them is 3 years old, or he will be 3 years old this year in July, very late in July, end of July. And their second child will be 1 year in March this year. She will be, that's a girl. And apparently the oldest, the boy, he has gotten eye infection on both his eye and are struggling with diarrhea. And the little girl that will be 1, she apparently is just throwing up everything overall. So yeah, they're both sick. And my soon-to-be sister-in-law, she's a nurse, so she's at work. So he has 2 sick kids that he needs to deal with all by himself. And right now, I don't envy him. I actually feel very, very sorry for him. He was hoping for like a quiet night where he could sit and watch some TV. He had put fire in the fireplace and was settling in for the evening, and then suddenly one kid started with the diarrhea while he is sleeping, so he needed to clean that bed. And then the other child then started vomiting. So yeah, he really didn't get a cozy evening like he wanted to. When it comes to situations like that, I'm really glad I just have one child, because dealing with two sick kids at the same time, that must just be awful. Well, on the bright side, if you like cuddles, the youngest, she is like, when she's sick or if she's tired, like she get really cuddly. So at least you will be able to get a lot of cuddles. And as you know, if you are a parent, that if your children are sick, like, you can just forget to try not to get sick yourself. Like, it's if you don't get sick, it's a miracle. So I'm guessing in like a day or two, it's his turn to be sick. Hopefully his partner is home and can take care of him. Oh no. Oh no. Big mistake. So you know all these stitches I did? Oh yes, I need to frog them. All of them. Because they're not supposed to go over like this. So hang on while I frog. Okay, we can continue. That's why I said I need to relax. Because I can feel myself not relaxing. My body is kind of stressing. And when I do that and I sit and stitch, I tend to do a lot of mistakes. And that's no fun. But hopefully some stitching will calm me down. And I will get in a good groove. Hopefully. While I am quiet, trying to focusing on my stitching, feel free to tell me about your day. I won't be able to hear what you're saying unless you actually write it down in the comments. So feel free to tell me about your day, even if it wasn't eventful or if it was eventful. And now I'm getting some more floss. And while I'm at it, I'm just gonna do 2 lengths of the same color, because I know I'm gonna need 2 lengths to do this. Or rather 2 separate lengths. So I did take a whole length and just cut it in half, so I get 2. So I have 2. Luckily that's an easy fix. Missing 1 stitch on that line. As I said, I'm doing all the mistakes today. I really shouldn't stress. It's not good for my stitching. Luckily that's an easy fix. And if you're wondering why I'm stressing a little bit, it's because as I told you some videos ago, I have started doing a new challenge called Hell's Stitching, which is a takeoff on Hell's Kitchen. So we are a team of 4 members that have a restaurant, and every once in a while, actually very often so far, we will get orders that we need to do. And so it's events that happen where we need to do orders. Stitch for that. And when we don't have orders, we usually need to stock up on items. And you use a certain amount of stitches to get the different things or make the different orders. And to be able to make the orders, you also have to have the ingredients. So if you don't have everything you need, like in the middle of stitching, you will then have to stock up on items even when there's an event. And right now there is an event and we have a lot of orders to fulfill, and I'm taking my 3rd vaccine dose tomorrow. I'm one of those that have decided that if you have followed me for a while, you know I'm pro-vaccinator. And I don't always have a lot of good things to say about the people that don't do vaccines. Mainly because I have a sister that cannot take vaccines. Like, it's okay if you don't get vaccinated because you cannot be vaccinated. But then it's even more important for her survival, that people around her do take the vaccine. So anti-vaccine people, I don't have a lot of respect for, because I know they can ruin lives. And if their excuse is whatever it is, unless it's you are gonna die if you take the vaccine, then you don't really have a good excuse in my mind. Because you might end up making it so my sister won't survive because you didn't take the vaccine. So. And as I said, I understand if you cannot take it, like you have medical reasons not to. Not everybody can. But if you are in a position that you can, but you just won't, then yeah, it's you might end up doing a lot more damage than what you can see right now, because you will not be the one that has to bury a person. It's other people that have to deal with that. So yeah, I'm getting my, where we're talking about vaccines and then challenges. So yeah, I'm taking my vaccine tomorrow, the 3rd dose, which is like a keep up dose. And I get I'm in danger of getting very severe reactions, both when I take the vaccine and also afterwards. They know this because I take vaccines against my allergies to get rid of my allergies, and I have already had some really bad reactions when taking that, where I had to get adrenaline and stuff like that to help my body kind of fight whatever it needed to fight. One time they actually were considering calling the ambulance and get me to hospital because it was so bad, but they just needed to give me a little bit more time than most people, which isn't unusual. That's why I also said, like, wait a little bit longer before you call the emergency, because I have chronic fatigue syndrome. So when it comes to my body fighting, it's sometimes a little bit slower than what normal people bodies will fight off things they need to fight off when it comes to the immune system. So yeah, just give my body a little bit more time and I'm good to go. And look at me remembering to move the frame or the camera. So yeah, as I said, I can get some very bad reactions. So my day tomorrow is not force myself to wake up when I usually do. I try to sleep in as long as I can. I try not to do any anything except necessary house chores, just so that I can sit and relax the whole day. Sometimes I will just sit in bed and watch some TV on my iPad, not even go out of bed before I need to. So I get the maximum amount of relaxing time and let my body get ahead a little bit, because I'm always low on energy, so that my body has the most amount of energy when I go to take the vaccine, because then I don't usually get so severe reactions when I do that. As I said, I do take vaccines for my allergies. So in the beginning, I went every week, I think it was, to increase the dose to where it's the max amount of dose. They had to take it really slow with me because, as I said, I get very severe reactions. And then now, when I have the full dose, I go every 7 weeks to get a new dose of that vaccine. And there's stuff like I have to be careful about, that there's X amount of days between the corona vaccine and the allergy vaccines and stuff. And you really don't want to mess with that, because then if they're too close, you can end up getting an even more severe reaction, apparently. I didn't know this in the beginning, so luckily that time it went well. It had gone 7 days, which is like the minimum amount it needs to be. And they were afraid it would be a problem, but it didn't end up being a problem. But I had a lot of side effects afterwards. I do always have some side effects with the allergy vaccines, like where they take the vaccine, I itch, and I get this like red circle that itches, which is it's totally normal. Like, it's nothing dangerous or anything, that part. So it's okay. Like, you have to just accept there will be some side effects, but as long as they're not severe, it really isn't an issue for me. It's better to get the vaccine so I can get rid of my allergies, because with my allergies I itch a lot more. And I have already started to feel the vaccines is helping a little bit with my allergies, so that's good. They're not at full effect, and they most likely won't be for a while. So a lot of people are done after 3 years taking full dose of the vaccine. But they have already said that most likely I will have to go 5 years, because my body is just, as I said, my body just needs a little bit longer time than most people. That's the best way to explain it. Just need a little bit more time. So yeah, since I'm then doing the vaccine tomorrow, there won't be a lot of stitching. And as I said, we have an event where we have a lot of orders, and I will most likely not be stitching most of the day tomorrow. And depending on how bad side effects I get, I'm not sure I will be stitching on Friday. Today is Wednesday, if you're wondering. So yeah, we just have to take it as it goes. And that's why I try to do a little bit more than usual today, so that at least try to make a little bit up for the fact I'm not gonna be stitching and helping my team out the next few days, maybe. And suddenly I will surprise everyone. Like with the corona vaccine, everybody, like I know, got the worst of it the second dose. They had almost nothing the first dose of side effects, while with me it was actually the opposite. The first dose I got really bad, and the second dose went way over expectation. When setting the dose and afterwards, because that's the thing. When I say I can get some really bad reactions, is I can get bad reactions immediately after I have set the vaccine, and it can take up to a couple of minutes before it kind of shows itself. So normal people will have to wait for, I think it's 20 minutes after they have taken the vaccine. I have to sit and wait for at least an hour before I can go to be under observation. And they also have like the people that do the observation, it's like a group that does it for free, like helping out, and they get like small notes that says like, this person you need to watch extra closely, and they will. So because as I said, I can get some really severe reactions, and they just need to keep an extra eye on me so nothing goes wrong. And they do. They usually take really good care of me, so I'm not worried. They know what to do. And when I took the first dose, I started getting itchy in my throat, so I started kind of coughing a little bit. And the people watching were, one of the person immediately like came and did sit down close to me to like pay even more attention to my breathing and stuff like that. Luckily it calmed down, so I didn't get any severe reactions. But when that happened one time with the allergy vaccines, what happened was I started to breathe less and less. And the problem is, when you start to breathe less and less, slowly, you don't notice yourself. And as that happens, you kind of, at least my brain kind of shuts down. So I'm not present. I'm not fully conscious. It's good that there's a person that can kind of pay attention, because I have trouble with letting the people around me know that now I am struggling to breathe, because I kind of realize it too late when my cognitive functions have slowed down a little bit too much. but as I said, they pay attention, so I'm not worried. And that time with the allergy vaccines, like there was nurses there that paid attention. They got me to breathe into a machine to see how my breathing was. What you do when you take those allergy vaccines, you take a breathing test before you take the vaccine, so that if you get ill, they can take a new breathing test and see how big difference it was. And I was at the point where I almost didn't breathe at all. So they immediately then got me to a bed so I could lay down. And they gave me this, it's kind of my mother-in-law is a nurse, so what she said is kind of a special cocktail blend for counteracting the vaccine you get. So I got that, and they waited a little bit to see if I got better. I didn't, so they gave me immediately adrenaline, like all the time. They kept paying attention to my breathing and stuff. So they gave me the adrenaline to kind of kickstart my body to help counteract the vaccine. And after a while, my body slowly started to counteract the vaccine, and I got better. I started breathing normally again, and yeah. And then the fun thing is, my body doesn't really take well to adrenaline because I'm so low on energy. So forcing that energy out of my body really makes me sick. So almost right after I started to get well, I started to get really sick again. So I got my grandma-in-law to come and pick me up and drive me home because I wasn't able to walk home like I usually do. But she took care of me, got me home, and when I got home, I just immediately went to bed and stayed there. So, yeah. It's, as I say down at that, I go to a special doctor to get that vaccine, and he says that it's usually never boring when I'm around. Because with the and this isn't normal for people. This is because of my chronic illness. It's it makes it more complicated with the vaccines because of my chronic illness, as I said. Being that low on energy kind of makes everything a little bit harder. So, but it's I'm glad I'm getting the vaccines, and hopefully one day I will be free of those allergies, and that will make my life a lot easier. Because again, my allergies in itself with my chronic illness, it's also a bad combination. So I would rather take 3 to 5 difficult years every 7 weeks with the vaccine and not have to worry about that, my allergies, than forever having trouble with my allergies. Because the problem is before I started the vaccine, they got worse and worse. So it would have ended up being really severe if it continued that direction, which it most likely would. And when I started the vaccines, it actually stopped making my allergies worse. And it's now, after 2 years, it has started to show to get better. And that's most likely because my allergies was on its way to get even worse than it was. The effect of the vaccine kind of didn't give a big progress, because it kind of had a lot to deal with getting a handle on my allergies. So, but now it's actually getting a little bit better. And when I take the vaccines now, it's actually better with the side effects. Like the itching, it isn't as bad as it usually is. So it's slowly getting better each time. And eventually it will be much, much better. So just looking forward to that. Because with my chronic illness, if I can get rid of those 2 worst allergies, hopefully that will help me get a little bit more energy in my day-to-day life, because then my body doesn't have that to deal with each and every day. So yeah, I did what I was supposed to do today. So there's not much left on this hill, which is fun. So next time we're gonna do an even bigger chunk of this hill. And depending on how long that takes, I might even make a longer episode to finish off the border here before I jump down and do the border more in speed stitching style. As I have commented previously, the 2 borders that are exactly the same as this, I'm just thinking about doing the whole border at once. Get that done, and at least part of it on the 2 that are the same, the 2 patterns, and just because you have seen that before a lot of times. Like, this is the 3rd border I'm doing. So yeah, we'll just see if we can get a finish next time, or if it will be the week after. So thank you all for joining me. If you like, please leave a thumbs up and a comment so that I know that you appreciate and like this series. And as long as there's interest in this series, I will keep doing them. So have a great rest of your day, or night, or evening, depending on when you watch this and where you are in the world when you watch this. And happy stitching. Goodbye, everyone.